For a lot of you out there, you have puppies and you're wondering whether or not you should crate train your puppy. The answer is yes. Crate training is an easy way to keep your dog safe and happy. Here's how to do it. Crate size. How big should your crate be? The crate should be big enough for the dog to stand up and turn around in. The idea of the crate is that dogs are relatively clean animals and won't go to the bathroom where they have to lay. So the dog should have enough room in the crate to stand up and turn around. If you have a really big crate, they sell dividers. Some of the crates are the collapsing metal crates, right? They're easy to store, they're relatively inexpensive. There are other crates that are made of plastic. Those are typically called airline crates, and they're going to be plastic on either side with some vent holes up at the top. Bedding. What kind of bedding should be in the crate, and when should I put bedding into the crate? Well, when you first adopt your puppy, you may want to put a shirt or something in there of yours. That way the dog gets used to your smell. If you want to put bedding in your crate, go ahead, assuming the dog doesn't try and eat it. Toys. How many toys should you put in your crate? I've seen people overload their crate with toys. The problem with that is that now the dog has no place to lay. Should it be 1 toy or 2 toy or 3 toys or 4 toys or 5 or 6? What kind of toys? Generally, you should put dog toys in with your dog and just 1 or 2. Do you put food and water in the crate with your dog? The answer to that question is no. The reason is because the dog is going to drink or eat and not know when you're going to get home. Maybe the animal won't be able to hold it as long if it's full. Remember, what goes in has to come out. How long can you leave your dog in the crate? Well, that's going to be based on the size and the age of the dog. Smaller and younger dogs have smaller bladders. I would recommend leaving your dog in the crate no longer than 4 hours without a break at that size and age. Again, if you're going to be gone for an 8 to 10 hour workday, you should be sure to have somebody come to your house and let your dog out for a break. Whenever you put your dog in the crate, you have to make sure it's a positive experience. You don't want any negative associations with the crate. So don't use your crate for a timeout. Don't use your crate as any form of punishment for the dog. Whenever you put the dog in the crate, be sure to give the dog a biscuit or a treat and say crate or kennel or some kennel word. After enough trials, what will end up happening is the dog will learn to associate that behavior with going into the crate. So now I can say crate and the dog will run to its crate and wait happily with the door open until I get there to close the door. Never let your dog out of the crate while it's whining. That's the worst thing you can do, and it reinforces that behavior. You don't want to reinforce that behavior because I promise it'll get worse over time, and before you know it, you'll have a 90-pound dog that's trying to chew its way out of its crate. When can you correct your dog for having an accident in the house? The only time you can correct your dog is if you catch the dog in the act of using the restroom. If you find the pile 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, 10 minutes later, an hour later, the dog isn't going to make the association. There's an old wives' tale that says if you rub the dog's nose in it, the dog will then understand that it did something wrong. Well, this just simply isn't true. Don't rub your dog's nose in it. Whenever you let the dog out of the crate, the first thing you should do is put it on a leash and take it outside to your potty area. Once you're out there, let the dog take a few steps around and try and keep the dog moving so it's not smelling so many things. When the dog is going to the bathroom, make sure that you give it a bathroom word and you praise heavily for that behavior. And the next thing you know is the dog is now peeing outside on command. Can you make your dog go to the bathroom in a certain spot? The answer is yes. All you have to do is when you take your dog out of the crate, you put it on a leash and take it to the point that you want it to go to the bathroom at. If you catch it going to the bathroom anywhere else, you're immediately going to drag the dog back over to the appropriate spot. And through time and training with repetition, the dog will learn that this is the spot that it can go to the bathroom in. When is the appropriate time to leave the crate door open? If your dog is less than 2 years old, you shouldn't let the dog wander around the house unattended. What you should do is keep that dog in your line of sight. That way you can immediately correct any misbehavior or bathroom accidents. When the dog is over 2 years old, it should already be crate trained, and it should also be potty trained. At this age, the dog is less likely to chew something up. Test it out, leave the dog out of the crate, see if it destroys something. Once the destructive period of the dog's life is over, you're more able to let the dog out with less and less supervision. They say that dogs that are between 2 to 3 years old, that's when they hit maturity. That's about the time they're going to stop eating your house. Removing the crate. If you've done your crate training properly, the dog views the crate as its own personal den. It's like its own personal space. Why would you take that away? If you're going to take it away, at least take the bedding out that you used in the crate and lay that someplace for the dog. It'll be comforting. Thanks a lot for watching this video and happy potty training.